that's all I would do. Like I would literally be at the skate park from 2 p.m. to like midnight. It just kind of kept me out of trouble. The whole point is to create different home service brands. We'll have multiple others that we're going to create in the future.
Yeah.
But we're just kind of diving deep with Popsicle right now. Part of my sales pitch when we're meeting like a husband and wife, I'm like, hey, like just letting you know, like you're going to be pissed at me.
Yeah.
I'm going to be pissed at you. You guys are going to fight and you're probably going to cry.
What do you think is the biggest thing that designers and architects look for when starting a new relationship or a new contractor?
It's
Welcome everybody to another episode of Unconventional Materials. This is probably one of the coolest episodes that we are filming, not over a Zoom call the way that we usually do, but actually in person at the new and hopefully soon finished Well Done Builders headquarters. Joining me today is the one and only Zac Archuleta, CEO and founder of Well Done Builders.
Welcome.
I'm happy to be here, Zac.
Thank you, man.
I'm super stoked for this episode today. One, because this is our first in-person episode.
Sweet.
And we have a lot to talk about in terms of how it is that you have grown Well Done to what it is today, and more so your personal journey in terms of how you've gotten yourself into the position to grow not just one company, but multiple companies under the Brellico umbrella.
Yeah. I'd love to talk about it.
So I guess we'll just kind of kick off and get started with who the heck are you?
Who the heck am I? Such a loaded question. Zac Archuleta, like you said, I own a construction company, Well Done. I have a wife, Ashley, and 4 kids, which is crazy. We have Scout, Finn, Cole, and Sadie, which is, I mean, that's of all the things that we have. That's who I am. The most part. I'm a family man. I love my family, love my kids, and just passionate about business, man. I'm passionate about people and culture, and just it's been a long journey getting to where I'm at, and there's a long journey ahead of me, and just really in trying to enjoy the ride, the ups and downs of the whole thing. So
and I see that you've built something pretty remarkable. We're sitting right now in what is going to be the new headquarters for Well Done, and also for Popsicle Air. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah.
And so talk me through, I guess, like how the company got to this point right here.
Yeah, so I mean, it's funny thinking back, because I can think back from, again, home office to getting an office in Huntington Beach that was like a office warehouse to splitting a space with a designer in Costa Mesa next to a coffee shop, which like each step was so scary and so big at the time, you know, $700, $2,000, you know, and now we're at a spot where it's just quite a bit of money to where we're sitting, but each time it's just a leap of faith. So I'm inspired by the place where we work. I'm inspired by the people that we work with, and I want to provide a space where, again, people come and are inspired to work. They're excited, they're motivated to work, and again, aesthetically, we're not just in a space that's boring, you know, it's something that's exciting. So this space specifically, the story behind it was kind of crazy, because I actually walked this space with a big interior designer. She was going to rent out the whole space. I was going to help her with all the remodeling, and I was like, as I was walking through the space, I'm like, dang, this spot's really cool. It has beautiful green ivy on it. It's in a really cool spot of town, and she ended up backing out of the deal, and we were growing, and we outgrew our space pretty quickly. So we were in the market for a new space, and it was crazy because all these different building owners like wanted us to use their spaces. So we had people who were offering us like $300,000 for tenant improvement, and we had all these really phenomenal deals, but I just, like, this space was like in the back of my head, just like a seed. I'm like, so before we were getting ready to sign a lease on a property right down the street from us, I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna go like swing by. I know it's already leased, I've seen it a million times. And literally that day that I swung by, it was like for lease. Like, I was like, that's an old sign, it has to be something. Yeah, no chance. Like I know for a fact it's leased. And then there's a letter on the door, and I saw that the previous tenant was in default, something didn't happen. I was like, no way. So I immediately picked up the phone, called the landlords, and we had drafted up an LOI on the property, and then here we are. You know, so it's the purpose of this space is to house all the companies. We're sitting in an event space right now that we want to open it up and just have it be something that's that's constantly used. We're next to a coffee shop right now. One of our favorite things that we like about it is the life, the people that are walking by, having coffees, where we feel like we're in the community. So that's the goal of this space too, is to have a coffee shop in here, like that's open to the public. People can come in. We can, while people are working, we can hear the chirping and the chattering of just life happening. And then also everything that's going to be designed in here is modular, so we can put it away and we can have an event. So whether it's a real estate agent, an architect, a designer, we can have people come in this space and talk about whatever it might be. I think one of our favorite ideas was bringing like a lead building official for Newport Beach or Costa Mesa and bringing them in here and just opening up to the whole building community, all contractors, subcontractors, and we have the head building official that we're just kind of doing a Q&A with. I always picture a question we'd ask the lead building inspectors, like Bill, like what is the main thing that you're so sick of calling out contractors out in the field that you want us to just get it through our head, right? But again, it's a space where it's not just about well done, it's not just about popsicle, it's like bringing in other contractors and raising them up and giving them an opportunity to learn. So, and again, just using the space to its fullest for sure.
And I see that, and the thing that you just said was about, bringing other contractors and subcontractors and things like that together. Forging a path, especially in Orange County, for a new contractor is not the easiest thing in the world, right? Like this, you could say one of the most competitive markets all across the U.S. and all the metros. But you've managed to do so. But you've also managed to do so in a collaborative way by inviting collaboration, inviting more food for thought for the people around you. So I guess what is the spark that led you to have like a collaborative approach when it comes to building your company?
I mean, I think that we've all seen it a million times. Like my father-in-law is a general contractor, my brother-in-law, and it's just always seemed like a stingy, like I'm holding on to my subs, to my people. These are my clients, and I've never operated that way. So I've always just trusted that God is going to have work, and I'm seeing that there's plenty of work. There's so much work out there, and not every client's the right client for me. So and I think that the struggle that I had to go through and learn on my own is being a GC from just everything, the billing, the estimating, the client communication, the problems, whatever it might be, to where I'm at. Like I would have loved to have some mentors, that weren't like my father-in-law, my brother-in-law, because they taught me a lot of things, good and bad as well. But just it'd be nice to like have a path forward that made a little bit more sense. And I feel like where we're at now, it's like we are growing quickly, we're very, very well branded, and we're definitely have come onto the scene as a stakeholder in the like luxury space in Orange County, and it hasn't been really received as well as I would have liked from some of the legacy builders. Because for me, like the legacy builders, I actually have so much respect for, because if the people that have been around for 15, 20 years, like and knowing the things I've had to go through to get to where I'm at, I guarantee they've been through the same things, and they've cemented themselves into those positions for a reason, right? So I would have loved to been received with a little bit more open arms and respect there. So that's kind of what we want to do. We want to do the opposite. It's like if there's up and coming contractors that are scratching the surface and onto the level that we're at, then we want to support them. You know? We want to highlight the people that are doing the right thing and have the same values, that are trying to provide an experience and a service to their clients that's above anything else. And it's tough to do. So I'm
curious now, like you mentioned values, how do your values personally permeate through what the company is today? Because you have, I think, 17 full-time employees, is that right?
Yeah, something like that. Like it's growing all the time. So, dude, to be honest, I don't know what it is. There's something that, like, again, I'm a Christian. I'll preface that now, so I'll probably talk about my faith a lot. And I'm always kind of dumbfounded and just look back and I'm like, Lord, how are you using me? How am I attracting this talent? How am I attracting these types of people that want to work in a business with me? And I have to give glory to him, because sometimes I didn't know what imposter syndrome felt like until, I feel like it was like 6 months ago. I was sitting with a roofing contractor, just like carried himself so well, like masculine, looked like a leader. Like again, I look like a skateboarder. And I'm like, yeah, that dude can command a room, but for some reason, like the gifts that God's given me and how I communicate and how I lead a team has just really kept some great talent, so.
And part of that is, well, you mentioned your faith walk, obviously, and the skateboarding aspect. Those two things kind of meshed into one at some point in time. So take me back, like rewind well before the well done days. I guess you got your start in skateboarding when you were how old?
I think I was like 12 or 13 when I started skating.
Crazy.
So actually a little older for skateboarders that are trying to find a career in skateboarding. So I gravitated to skateboarding early on because I had a rough childhood. My parents were divorced at an early age, and I was never really into the drinking, the partying. But I was like just picked up a skateboard one day and just kind of fell in love with it, just trying to learn how to ollie, how to kickflip, and got a couple of friends that did the same thing, and then just really got obsessed with it. Yeah. And that's all I would do. Like I would literally be at the skate park from 2 p.m. to like midnight, or later some nights, just skating underneath the lights in either Utah or Idaho, wherever I was living at the time. And it just kind of kept me out of trouble a little bit. And how my faith got connected was, again, kind of going through that rocky time with my family, trying to figure out life a little bit as an oldest child with divorced parents, and taking care of my mom, was just going to different skate events, and a church put on an event, and some skateboarders came out that I've never seen, never even heard of, and shredded the crap out of my park and did tricks that I hadn't even thought of or learned yet, and which I was blown away by. Did all like the merch stuff, the swag, and did the typical thing, but then they got up and then just said, hey, like none of this matters. The only thing that matters is that you were created in God's image, and there's a purpose for your life. And I'll never forget just like raising up my hand and just like, because they gave an invitation, said, like, if you want to accept Jesus into your heart, if you want to know who he is. And I thought I knew who he was because I would say the same prayer every night, then, raise your hand and come forward. And I ended up praying with those guys and just giving my life to the Lord. And I've actually found myself connecting with a couple of the guys, and I started touring with those guys shortly after.
That's beautiful.
It was crazy because I was a senior in high school, like
skateboard ministry.
Yeah, skateboard ministry, but I was a senior in high school, and I left to go on tour with these like Christian skateboarders that I've just met, and traveled all over the country, all over the world as a new Christian, new believer, and just like just kind of an interesting, different life that I lived for a while. Yeah,
there's growing up, we would always sing this song. I went to a Christian school growing up, and we would sing a song, "This little gospel light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine," right? And so I think that everybody has a light to bring to the world, but that light shows up in different ways. For some people, it's a skate deck, right? For some people, it's framing.
Yeah, for sure.
But I guess given the fact that you have like those core tenets kind of cemented in you now, how are you finding that influences your day-to-day behavior with how you lead your team?
Yeah. Well, my team knows. I talk about it all the time. I'm very honest about it, and thank God I'm a Christian, because some of the stresses of being a contractor, being a business owner, sometimes like right now we're absolutely getting hammered. Like it's just business right now. It's just dealing with some new things, but it's like if I wasn't a Christian, if I couldn't go to God and be like, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm gonna maintain a clear head and basically put this all at your feet, then I wouldn't be able to do it. Like I can't imagine a life like, and the amount of stress and the heaviness that it would be, like even the grudges that people hold, and like how people do business, and it's just like I'd be a madman. So yeah.
Well, it sounds like it's worked out pretty decently over the last few years. So talk me through, I guess, the hallmark moment for Well Done Builders over the last few years, where you're like, okay, I think this is going to be something.
It's funny thinking back, like it all started, the story is actually really funny because I was working for my father-in-law being a GC. Again, I was skateboarding, I was running a team on the road. I've always been an entrepreneur, always been a leader. So I've working for my father-in-law, I kind of saw how everything works and how being an entrepreneur and running a job site and seeing all the pieces like made sense. I'm like, I've ran all the pieces. I've done logistics and per diems and hotels for a couple dozen skateboarders forever. So being married to my father-in-law's daughter, and just knowing like where the cap was with working for him versus like what I could do on my own was kind of the pivotal moment. So I ended up going on my own and just kind of doing handyman stuff and doing DIY stuff and connected with property management and started doing kitchen remodels. And I've always been through skateboarding, loved branding and marketing. So I was always putting my stuff out there, creating business cards, content, because that was all very important. And we did a good job. So one of the most pivotal moments early on was getting selected as a contractor for an HGTV show. We did a show called Hidden Potential with Jasmine Roth, and it was something where we both lived in the same city, and I was a young, good-looking contractor, just got my GC license, and just connected, and they were just gonna give me one episode. We need one contractor to do one episode, and absolutely crushed it. And then they're like, can you do 2 more? I'm like, yes. And can you do a fourth one? I'm like, yeah. So we personally in the mix of the whole thing, and that was huge, right? So I got to learn a little bit about what's reasonable and unreasonable for TV, and just had a lot of fun doing it. And that obviously attaching HGTV early on is it's a big milestone, right?
So that's huge.
And then from there, we just continue to grow. And I think I was telling you when we were chatting before, it's like the biggest thing was just in our growth now, it's just identifying all the areas that, with the demand, with the volume of the areas that I enjoy doing, but I'm not good at, or the things I absolutely suck at, and just identifying those things and hiring for them, and just finding the right people. And that's really what's allowed us to continue to grow recently.
And right now we have 3 cameras staring at us. You have Jake over here, your main media guy, and you have an amazing team that you've built specifically like content-wise. That is one of the most uncommon things for contractors, right? Like it's totally uncommon. So when I had come across you, or when you came across our radar, I was like, Zach's doing something here. I'm curious where this idea came from, because this is not a common thing in construction. This
is the skateboarding, exactly what I said. I've always carried a huge weight and value for branding and marketing and just putting it out there, because the more people see your information, the more they're going to think about you, right? And then I realized in construction we have these big 6 foot by 12 foot fence panels that it's like free advertising in every city. So as far as like the physical branding and marketing, that's easy, and the social media, it's just fun. That's just fun to kind of show it off, and it's been cool because we've actually seen, like, we were definitely set the tone for social media in Orange County, and now I think everybody's like, we see you everywhere, we see your social media, your content's great, and I'm always reminding people, I say, we're not perfect, like don't hold us to this, like, we're still figuring it out, but we've seen multiple other brands like really step up their social media, and it just feels good to have confidence and know that we had a part in that. And it's funny too, because I'm always putting Jake on notice. I say, dude, like we need to set the bar again.
What's next?
So it's like what is the new content? Is it more short form? Is it more educational? Like everybody can do beautiful like drone shots and glamour shots and simple reels and all these things, but it's like what's the next step? How do we stretch the industry?
And it's something that you guys, it seems like, if you look at the social media page now, it's like kind of seems like you guys have been doing this effortlessly, but there was a point in time where you guys were just kind of getting your hands wet with the whole thing. So I guess, can you talk me through, I guess, when you guys started your social media journey, were there any initial fears or anxieties around doing it, or was it kind of natural given the HGTV background?
No fears. I think, again, I knew that it was important, but again, just that early on and being kind of like a one-man show, and so at that time self-performing work, you just it's like, do I have time for this? Is this even important? I'm a builder, so you would just try and capture content on occasion, or like do a post and put it in like a community forum or something, just to kind of highlight your work. But early on, I just found somebody that did social media that was just doing it part-time, come in a couple of days a week, film us, highlight, like, I'm actually really proud of this, come film this, I want to show this to the world. And at that time, it was actually a stretch paying anybody outside of what we're doing to do social media. So that was a little scary, and just slowly started paying attention to the feedback and the comments, and I was like, that's that, and we're getting work because of it. So I guess that's the ROI there, where the return on investment is we get business. So I was like, okay, cool. There's some value here.
But that wasn't even your initial intention.
No, not at all. No.
You're just
I was like, I'm proud of this.
I'm proud of the work that we're doing.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Okay. Well, so I'm very curious now, because like this is how I'm seeing things. It's just like one layer, and then there's like some fear attached to it. There's another layer, there's some fear attached to it. But you've been able to jump through all these different layers in your building journey, I guess. One thing that kind of sticks out to me is the fact that you're always thinking of what the next thing is, despite the fear that you're experiencing in the moment, right? And so you've done something interesting with a new company that is not so new now, which is Popsicle Air. And I think I see a lot of what I guess you brought in from your skateboarding journey, the creativity piece.
It's not the skateboard with the Popsicle logo on it.
It's not that exactly, but yeah, no, but I see a lot of that permeating through not just the construction, but the brands that you're intentionally building. So talk me through, I guess, like when the idea hit for Popsicle Air, while you already have this amazing, you know, foundation with Well Done.
Popsicle Air came about, I mean, because here's the thing, it's like we're cost plus contractors, we're always providing bids to our clients, and obviously just being a business owner and trying to capitalize on as much margin as you can, like we're always just seeing like, well, it's a couple things. It's like sometimes our subcontractors, we're only as good as our subcontractors, and if we don't have good subcontractors, I just saw a need in HVAC specifically. I knew that HVAC is something that's pretty straightforward, there's minimal risk, there's great margins, and then the whole point was, outside of creating another brand, was to actually be competitive with our clients, right? So it's if we get 3 bids from different HVAC contractors, it's like Popsicle can always, number one, I know that Popsicle is going to do the best job. We have a different customer service. It's attached to me. People already trust me, and we can control our pricing a little bit. So we actually, clients win in the end. So that's kind of like the whole point, is to create different home service brands. We'll have multiple others that we're going to create in the future, but we're just kind of diving deep with Popsicle right now, and just want it to be something that's a blessing to Well Done, and not something where it feels like we're just trying to create another business to you know, intermingle with.
A lot of contractors would look at that though and be like, okay, isn't that kind of a distraction from the main thing? But you've tactfully kind of attached Popsicle to what you guys are doing with Well Done in a very unique way. So talk me through, I guess, like what your thinking was when, I guess, detaching or attaching the 2 brands.
We have to have the right people, right? So, I mean, I think even right now, it's just like the funny timing of the podcast. Like, we have a really great team to where I was able to, again, we have PMs, architects on staff, we have the billing side. So Well Done actually at this time was flowing, like it was in a flow state. You know, everything was kind of flowing, jobs were good, clients were happy, money was coming in, and it was like a perfect time to kind of launch Popsicle. So sometimes, I mean, it could be a distraction. I think that what we've really done is set the right people up. We have a GM for Popsicle that runs the show. We have the operations that helps with it. We have the marketing, and we just have weekly meetings. So Popsicle actually takes up maybe 5% of my week.
Oh wow!
And I'm
super
able to.
Lean.
Yeah, it's very lean, but we make quick, decisive, important moves every week, and it's moving. So
that's great. No, that's fantastic. And part of obviously like what you're doing with Popsicle, again, it bleeds into not just this as a company, but just also the relationships that you have around Orange County. You fostered some incredible relationships with local designers, architects, and things of that nature. And now that we were just kind of walking through the space before we started the episode, you were telling me how, you know, you want this to be a space for architects and designers to spend their time. And so I guess this is something that I always like to ask contractors. What do you think is the biggest thing that designers and architects look for when starting a new relationship with somebody like yourself or a new contractor?
It's communication. I mean, number one, you have to, I think to even communicate with some of the higher level architects and designers, you have to earn that right to even be in that conversation.
Totally.
But this is a question I ask every designer and architect or new relationship that we meet. Like, what's your expectation? What do you love about some of the contractors that you currently work with, and what are some things that you don't like? And it's all communication and teamwork. You know, that's really what it is. Like, nobody's trying to throw each other under the bus. Everybody's just trying to collaborate and really just, again, like the end goal is we have the common thread is we have a client that's paying us, that's and we're our what's the word, fiduciary duty, the real estate term, is to our client, right? So we want to create something incredible and create have a service and an experience for a client that's unlike anything else. And if you can be in line and in tune with an architect and designer, good and bad, then like the project's almost unstoppable. Yeah,
and I imagine that you've had experiences with designers where it's been like this wasn't the best experience, some with architects as well, but you've also had some pretty awesome experiences too. And so some of the projects that you've been most recently, I would say, more proud of or most proud of, have designers and architects involved. Why don't you talk me through, I guess, like one of the projects that kind of comes to mind that you have recently been proud of, I guess?
First one that came to mind right now is one that we're actually going to start, right? So I'll give you a pre-construction one that we're in the process of. So we have an incredible property that's off Galaxy in Dover Shores here that's back bay views, and we're collaborating with Lindy Galloway, which is a A-list designer, and Roy Fubister, which is an amazing architect that more people need to know his name. And what's been cool is both of those teams has allowed my team to elevate, because it's nice being around people that when you walk into the room, like we've been in design meetings, we've been in architecture meetings, and they're all great. You always leave like super hyped, but when you see people that are operating at that level, that's like, say Rory, like first time we met them, we were within 2 weeks for a 7,500 square foot home, subterranean. Had 4 schematic drawings, fully custom hand drawn, 3D printed. Within 2 weeks. Like we have an in-house architectural team, and I know how hard it is to produce one or 2 floor plans with that time, and to have 4 that are just incredible, like knocked it out of the park. And the presentation and the thought, it was just crazy. And the same thing with Lindy. So we're really excited to bring all those energies and forces together to create just like something that's just like probably be a one of one in like Orange County together. So but it's the same thing with like other projects. Let me think of we wrapped up a project off of Lincoln in Dover Shores. This is a remodel, basically a scrape, just like left a little bit of the foundation. And there's a longtime designer I've worked with, Lisa from LL Design. And we're just in a flow. Like we're always in a flow. Like I feel like she is a designer that has a construction mind, and I'm a contractor that has a designer mind. So we're always thinking about each other in different decisions. And if we're in a pickle, we're trying to problem solve something, I can count on her to have good solutions, or vice versa. So this project specifically, like none of them are perfect, and I think that
where was the client at before you guys I guess started? Like talk me through that, because if somebody doesn't know who Zac is, if somebody doesn't know who the Well Done team is, I guess what was that initial impression? What was the introduction? I imagine there was like probably a referral relationship somewhere in there.
The client approached us first, and then I think that's again through our reputation that we're building, clients really trust the team that we want to bring. So Lisa was an obvious choice for this project, for her design style, and this one was it's an investment property that was meant to be built and sold. And so I just knew that as being budget conscious and like designing at a high level, she could do that, and we can do the construction side. So we quickly introduced Lisa. We had our in-house draftsman team like throw up a design really quickly, and thankfully for this project, like the client investor was just so sold on the team and what we're doing that they just kind of let us run the show, which was great, that's rare. Rare for sure.
But with investor clients, I guess that would make sense. Like they, in some cases, want to be a little bit more hands-off and just know that you guys honor the budget, right?
It's non-emotional. Watch the budget, and if we are over budget, why? Like, what's the return on investment here? Why are we doing it? And then we do a lot of real estate, so people trust like the decisions we're making and why we're doing it.
Most definitely. And I imagine though that's not the typical case with a lot of homeowners that you guys work with. It's design build at the end of the day. There's a lot of emotions that come with it. Can you talk me through, I guess, like one of the most emotionally taxing experiences that you had in running the company from a client interaction standpoint over the last few years?
There's been a bunch, man. I feel like when you enter into an agreement with a private client design build, like you're entering into a long-term relationship.
It's a marriage, right?
It's a marriage. Like part of my sales pitch when we're meeting like a husband and wife, I'm like, hey, like just letting you know, like you're gonna be pissed at me. I'm gonna be pissed at you. You guys are gonna fight, and you're probably gonna cry. Like this is like. So like taxing, like we've never gotten to a point where it's just like so taxing to where like it was just miserable and everybody hated it, but there's definitely been some tough conversations we've had with where like we've had to eat crow sometimes and there's been delays, but I think the main thing is just dealing with those things head on immediately. Don't pushing them, don't try and hide anything. It's just like literally you're in a long-term relationship. Like Popsicle's different. Like it's kind of a binary thing. It's like we go perform a task, we get paid, and we leave, and we provide a great service. But this is like there's just like any relationship, there's opportunity to crush it and do really well and honor and lift up your your relationship, and there's opportunities where you're going to blow it, and you have to, like I said, eat crow and just be like, hey, we messed up. This is what we're doing to fix it, but we got you.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, it's not only lifting up the client. It's not only lifting up the designer, but it's also figuring out ways to lift up your team too.
Sure.
And so I think that you've done an exceptional job at that, Zach, is by, in some ways, and I know we keep talking about like Christ-centered tenants, but it's making yourself lower so the team can shine brighter. And so I noticed something on the side of Jake's hat, which was a little crucifix with I guess like an exaltation symbol, right? Talk me through, I guess, like specifically with your team members, how you support them as a leader, or how you've grown to support them as a leader with those center tenants.
I value honesty. Like, so I'm not the kind of leader that just like can sense an issue and pretend like it's not there. Like if I feel like morale and culture is so important to me, and it actually affects me a lot. So it's like, it's very important to me. So if I feel like morale's low, or if I'm sensing something on one of the employees, I'm like, it's like they're just off today, and I'll ask them like, hey, do you feel like so and so's doing okay today? They're like, yeah, everybody's not. Nobody can kind of sense what I'm sensing, and then I'll just pull some people aside and, how you feeling? What's going on? Like, is it work? Is it home?
Check.
Like, just a pulse check. Like, how are you doing? I think that's just really important, and I've found that I've gotten great feedback on how I can run the business better. Maybe they're not feeling supported in the field or whatever position they're doing. Maybe it is just a life thing, but I always say, like, especially if it's a family thing, if it's a home thing, I'm like, dude, screw work. Work doesn't matter. Like, go handle whatever you need to handle with your family. I got you. Work's just meant to help us provide. So that's really important. And I think that also when stuff happens in the business, like, I like to deal with it head on. Like when you lose a key employee or something happens, like, instead of like trying to pretend like I know everything that we need to do to get to the next phase, or to fix it, or to band-aid it, I hit the team. It's like, this is what I think. What are you guys feeling? Like, you guys that are actually doing the task, doing the work that this is going to affect. Like, where are we at? You know. So, I feel like my mannerisms and my vibe with the team is like, I'm not the end all be all. Like, I'm always asking for help and advice, and not pretending like I know it all.
But you are a vision caster.
Yeah, for
right?
sure. For sure.
You cast that huge vision for everybody to kind of buy into and move in that direction. In some ways, people talk about CEOs in the sense that they're the captain of the ship. And I think that's a good example, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're the one steering the ship, right?
For sure.
You have an operations manager, you have, in the case of Popsicle, a GM. Relinquishing trust. That is a harder thing to do for earlier founders, and you've been able to do that in a pretty short period of time. What do you attribute that to?
Finding the right people. I just think it's funny though too. Like, early on I was really discouraged, and I never thought that you could find anybody. I'm like, people suck. Like, I can't find anybody. Nobody's reliable. And once you start relinquishing control a little bit, and just trusting. So for me, it was just honestly just because it's like, it's too much for me. Like, I'm going to make myself look bad, so I might as well allow somebody else the opportunity to fail or succeed. And that really was a great mindset for me, because like I still hear it all the time, like the great plumbers or electricians, like or carpenters, I don't need anybody else, nobody can do it like me. I'm like, but dude, you have such a great skill set, and you can scale, and you can do this. Like, you need to at least try. There are people out there.
Give that effort.
So it's just really just trying to relinquish control, and then it's a double-edged sword though, because sometimes people are supposed to be in your business for a season, and like, we've lost like the end of this year is like I said, we've been getting hammered. Like, man, we've lost some like key positions that have really like shaken the boat a little bit. And like you said, I am the visionary, so I need to balance both things and provide confidence and direction, while also accepting the help and making understanding what the vibe of the whole team is.
Most definitely. I think that there's a lot of systems that contractors, when they break into the multi-8-figure territory, say, okay, these things are not working, these things are working, but your time is limited, and the employee's time is limited. what is a system that has produced you guys huge return on the time that you have spent putting that system in place?
Yeah, no, for sure. So we have an operations manager that we've brought in this past year that's just been a game changer. Because again, when you are scaling and you are growing, like everybody knows what to do and you trust your teams to know what to do, but then you start getting, you have to, again, when you have more volume and then you're accepting the volume, that's the other part, right? It's like,
you're saying yes.
I'm saying yes to the work, I have to perform, right? So when you start bringing in new personalities and different experience levels, like, you have to get to ground zero. You have to have a baseline understanding of how each position is operating. And so what we've done was we've literally mind mapped every position. We've sat down every PM. How do you do your job? How do you think Well Done wants you to do your job? What's your interpretation of how Well Done wants you to be a PM and communicate to the client? And we've literally mind mapped every decision and made swim lanes from PM, billing, sales, A&E, client, subcontractor, and how everything touches it touches each other. And it allowed us to find bottlenecks, draw attention to things that maybe there needs to be clarity on, and really allows us to find like what our Well Done standard is, and so we can communicate it. So for like the architectural department, like there's so many decisions that team needs to make, and like, you know, we have multiple clients, like and so we use Asana basically, like it's like a project management software where we have everything from like the second a client comes in for an A&E meeting to like ordering their coffee, we have like a checklist for everything, meetings, pre-construction, schematic, engineering, templated. So what all these guys have to do is just go through and follow the task, and then this is how we communicate to the client, this is how often we communicate. So it's definitely a work in progress, and we're always like shooting holes through our process and system and trying to make it better. Without getting in our way.
Naturally. What excites Zach the most in 2026, like in terms of like building the company? Because I imagine you got a million things on your mind at all times. Also, you have a beautiful big family that you just mentioned. What gets you going in terms of the company?
I think what gets me going this year, again, dude, we've grown very quickly in the last 2 years. I'm at the point now where, like I said, we've gotten the volume, we've gotten the notoriety. Now we have great social media, like you said, and now we need to back it up. And so what gets me excited is really just fine tuning it. Actually, this year I want to take less work. I want to find because our vetting process is for our clients, it's proximity, like if you're near us, we'll work with you. If you have great budget, if you have great chemistry, and it's something we're inspired by, if you check all 4 of those boxes, we'll work with you. So for this year, I want to actually, because we're fine at the level we're at, I just want to just perfect the craft, fix some of the things that we need to fix, and just really dial everything in. And the biggest thing is like I tell my team all the time, like, dude, I want to be the best contractor in Orange County. I want to have the best quality. Like I want to have the most urgency to get the jobs done, and I want to like operate in excellence. And I've learned, and learning as of right now, is like the volume can't just keep growing. At some point we need to like settle, recalibrate. That was the word that we used for this Monday for the team in the New Year's, just like recalibrate, go back to the basics, and like next year we're just going to protect what we take on.
You guys are focused more so on your product this year, your work product, like what you guys deliver to your clients, and just making that the greatest possible. Because ultimately that becomes your marketing, right?
For sure,
is that a difficult thing to do, knowing that like there's other builders around me and there's so many opportunities that I could possibly be saying no to while I'm perfecting my product?
No, I think, like I said, dude, there's so much work, and like if I'm happy to refer other builders. I just want to be diligent and thoughtful, and not just, I don't want to force anything this year. I just wanted to take on the right projects, and like I'm going to worry about me, and when people need help, I want to help.
You're there.
So that's kind of the vibe for this year.
Love that. I love that. I think that there's obviously another element to all of this stuff that we're talking about, which is getting to know Zac Archuleta into 2026. We had kind of talked about this, is that your social media presence is obviously really great, showcases the team and everything that you guys have created, but I think that you and I, talking off camera, talked about the importance of building a personal brand in 2026 if you are doing really any sort of business, but specifically in residential construction. And so I know that obviously the skateboarding stuff kind of inspired that, and just your involvement in the community as a whole. But I guess, why do you see that this is going to be the most important thing for you to push other initiatives?
You're talking about the personal brand?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the personal brand for me, like we talked, I think that, man, I feel like I have a lot to say. Like, I feel like there's a lot of things in business, the goods and the bads, that I actually want to be honest about and just kind of bring to light, because I know that it is going to help others. And also, to be honest, it's like a creative outlet for me, and it's kind of a release for me. So, like I said, it's funny because I do put so much emphasis on branding and marketing, and I don't really do it for myself as much. I'm actually pushing the brands and the agenda with that. So that's what's going to happen this year. I just think this can be really helpful. And it's like I said, it's a kind of a trying season right now, and it's going to be fun to get through it, share some inspiration, and hopefully like raise up some others.
What message do you want to send to, I guess, the whole Orange County community as a whole about Well Done, about the companies that you're running?
Well done cares, man. We like I said, we want to be the best, and specifically this year, like I said, we want to slow down and we want to provide that service to everybody. So we want to be the best. We want people to know that we're collaborative. We're here to help, and we want to raise up and build others. So that's really it. The goods and the bads, we want to be a sounding board, and we do want to be the best. We want to be the top dogs, like hands down, no question asked. And we want people to want us, and we want to set the tone and be the example of everybody underneath us. So
I think you guys are doing a good job of that.
Yeah, we're trying. Yeah,
you guys are doing a great job of that. The recurring themes in this episode that I'm finding is that it's the humility to say that we don't know everything, but we are going to continue to, I guess, chop away at it. I'm looking at these Christmas trees in front of me, and so I'm like, chop away at it. But yeah, continue to chop away at the goal, one step at a time, 1 foot in front of the other, with all the team members by you. But I guess, like, if you have a parting message for anybody who's listening to this, if anyone wants to know more about Well Done, about Popsicle, I guess this is your platform.
Parting message, man.
You could give a sermon. Yeah,
right. No, it's man, you're right. Like, you're important. Like the business that God's placed on your heart, or whatever, the trade that you're in, the designer, architect, like it's important, and it's a lonely road sometimes, and it's okay, right? So I would say the message would just be to I don't know, man, just like we're an open book. Reach out. Like, we'd love to snag a few young contractors and mentor them and help them along in their journey, and hope that they can do the same thing to others. So, and again, like I believe that everybody's made in God's image. I believe that you and I sitting in this space today, that just like, again, the timing of it's so funny to me. Like, God's been speaking to me like crazy through this time. It's a very trying time, and we're here and we're growing, and it's just like there's just so much opportunity just to. So I'd say stay the course, keep grinding, make smart decisions, be ethical, take care of your clients.
I'm super curious now. Like, you said the timing of this podcast. Like, what? When we had kind of crossed paths, I guess, like what was going on? Yeah.
So when we crossed paths, I think what I told you, like, it was funny because the first conversation we had, it was interesting because I was like, I want to build my brand. How do you do that? Like, it checked all the boxes. I've been telling Jake forever. I'm like, dude, I want to have more talking head content. I want to share. We're going to do a podcast studio here, and the big thing was I'm going to make a commitment to put some time into building my brand, my social media, my image. So when you reached out, and then I think I told you, like, I probably wouldn't have accepted, but I went to your page, and the content that you were putting out was like, it's like speaking to my soul, man. Like, just like, there's just so many things as a contractor that people just don't even understand, the pressures, how clients treat you, how you should treat clients. So I went through it, and I'm like, man, like, this is going to be therapeutic for me. So I'm excited to kind of redevelop. That's what I'm saying. Redevelop and dial in what Well Done is for 2026, and it's going to be exciting.
No, super exciting stuff. If you guys want to connect with Zac, I would highly encourage it. You guys can check out all of Zac's socials in the description, in the show notes below. But other than that, Zac, it's been an incredibly awesome podcast. It's been amazing.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
And I'm looking forward to seeing what Well Done does into 2026 and beyond. But once again, if you guys do want to see more from the company, I highly encourage you guys to check out their Instagram page so you can see their work. Designers, architects. Shameless plug.
Let's go.
I think there's a lot of amazing things that Zac could provide to your work. And so, We are signing off on another episode today, guys.
Cut.
We're done.
We're
That's
done.
it.
We're out.
Oh, we're out skis.
Get back to work, guys.
Everybody come out. But yeah, this is another episode of Unconventional Materials, everybody. We thank you guys for sticking around, and yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one.
Cool. Peace.
Peace.
Later, bro. Good work, dude.
Dude, that was awesome, man.
Yeah, thank you, dude.